measures yet to reduce impaired driving. And joining us live now to discuss the changes is OPP Sergeant Kerry Schmidt. Thank you so much, Sergeant Schmidt, for coming in.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And joining us in studio. So tell us what prompted this now, because we've seen the average start to increase.
Yeah.
What made it now? Now was the time for this to be mandatory.
You know, when we look at the statistics concerning alarming numbers, a 30% increase of impaired driving occurrences, impaired driving crashes, over the last 5-year period. 2023 was not a good year, but it's been ramping up. It's been going in the wrong direction. We have been seeing, increases, particularly here in the GTA. A 50% increase already this year compared to the last 5-year average of impaired driving crashes. People are sharing the road. They're out driving, with their families, trying to get around the city. To know that we're seeing those kinds of numbers, we need to do something. We do like ride checks. We're doing patrols. We take calls from the community. But now, as a proactive, tough measure, using mandatory alcohol screening legislation, we are going to be demanding a breath sample anytime we stop a driver on any routine traffic stop. We're going to be asking you for your driver's license, ownership, and insurance, and then we're also going to be demanding that you provide a sample of your breath. And again, driving's a privilege. Those privileges can be taken away. 11,000 charges last year across the province compared to 8,800 just 5 years earlier. So the numbers are going the wrong way, and we need to stop it.
Now, a lot of people suggesting that this could be infringing on their privacy as well, that this is something that's arbitrary. What are the legalities in screening someone for a crime when there is no suspicion of that crime really being committed? So
legislation changed back in 2018, allowing police officers in the province or anywhere to conduct mandatory alcohol screenings. Again, this is a very strong measure that allows us to screen out, and even without any suspicion of alcohol consumption, we can demand the breath sample. Now, obviously, if there's any amount, either admission or suspicion or smell of alcohol from the driver's breath, we can certainly, continue our regular investigative methods of determining if the person is impaired. But now, just to reduce any type of ambiguity, we are going to be testing every single driver that we stop here in the GTA.
And what about drugs and cannabis specifically? Yes. Because that is also included when it comes to the umbrella of impaired driving. Are you going to be screening for that?
Yeah, absolutely. We always do that. That's part of our ongoing, patrols and investigations. Now, that's not part of the mandatory alcohol screening, but if we suspect the person has been consuming drugs, we can have them submit to standard field sobriety testing. And if they fail those tests, they will go on to a drug recognition evaluation by an expert that will look at their impairment by drugs. We see a lot of people maybe using drugs and alcohol, and that is certainly very concerning, knowing that those kinds of drivers out on the roads, we get calls from the public, 911, saying there's a driver all over the road, going through stop signs or, weaving through their lanes. That is a crash waiting to happen. We take that as a priority call, and we just want to make sure we get those drivers off the road before a crash happens, before a tragedy strikes.
All right. Now, we heard a beep.
Yes,
the beep is coming from this. So tell us about the process,
yes.
Lastly. What will it look like? Will a driver have to get out of their vehicle to get this done if they are stopped?
No, absolutely. But it depends. The officer will conduct the traffic stop. They're going to introduce themselves. They're going to tell them that who they are, why they've been stopped. They're going to ask for the driver's license, ownership, and insurance. And then they're going to read a demand. It's going to sound something like, I demand that you provide a sample of your breath into an approved screening device, so a proper analysis can be made of your breath, and you accompany me for that purpose. Mm-hmm. Now, the accompaniment may mean going back to a police vehicle, or it may be actually just sitting in your vehicle itself. It only takes a couple of seconds. Again, this is authority or authorized through the criminal code, and again, it's a very simple test. And if you want to try it, we can do a test.
I did not drink today.
Okay, well now we know what's in these cups. So I'll hold it. Take a deep breath, inhale and blow out. Keep blowing, keep blowing, keep blowing. That's it. That's fine. Wait, and then we'll look to see what it is. Now, again,
So that's all the time that will be
That's all it
added to a
takes.
traffic
Yep.
stop.
So 0, congratulations, you're on your way. Now we'll continue with whatever reason I stopped you for. If it was for an offense or for any other type of situation, less than a minute, you're in and out. But again, as you're driving down the road, you see an officer pulled over with a vehicle, for some traffic violation, you hope that that person, if they're impaired, is going to be taken off the road. And sometimes in the roads and with the wind and the weather, it's hard maybe to determine if the person has been drinking. And so this takes away any bias, any other situations where we're just going to flat out check to make sure you have not been drinking. And hopefully that will reduce our impaired driving charges, occurrences, crashes, fatalities. 51 people died last year in impaired driving crashes. And again, those are 51 lives torn from loved ones that will never come back.
All right, Sergeant Kerry Schmidt, thank you so much for joining us and explaining the process and how that will change, and that is effective immediately.
It is. It's happening right now.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much for that. Once again, at 7:39 here on BET. Time now for